Hey guys, it is Zaylee Barclay, and I forgot to change the focus on this video, so I don't know how great it's gonna come out, but we're gonna do it anyway. So if you know me and you know my brand, you know that I am always on it, always on the go. I've been online for at least a decade, more than a decade. So it's been a few years, but the past 2 years have been really interesting for me, especially as it pertains to life and business and kind of navigating both of them. And one of the things that I went through in that time is panic attacks. I've always had anxiety, and I'm going to share more about my journey with anxiety. Because when I start talking, you'll see that I'm in my studio. So if you know me, you know that I'm a video coach or video content creation consultant. And so I'm in my studio, but I'm putting my makeup on because I was going to go to the doctor. And I just got back from the doctor and everything is okay, thankfully, but I feel like it's the right time to just talk about the things that nobody talks about in the online space. So, panic attacks, and what are they? Oh my gosh. I've been having panic attacks for a long time, but I think I didn't know I was having panic attacks. So when I finally started realizing that something was wrong, and this is not consecutively, by the way. So this video might be a bit choppy because listen, everything is falling apart. This video might be a bit choppy because I'm doing my makeup and I'm a bit distracted. I feel like I cannot do multiple things at one time. But also because my brain just moves really quickly while I'm speaking anyway. So bear with me. It's gonna be a good one, but we'll figure it out together. Okay, so panic attacks. I've been having them for a long time, but for a long time I didn't know what they were until they started happening consecutively, like every day at a specific time. That's the crazy thing. But it started happening like the same time all the time. And that's when I realized that something was wrong. Something was not right at all. And for me, it became debilitating. Like I couldn't finish my work, I couldn't record, I couldn't teach. But lots of times I actually pushed through. Like I remember I had a class to teach with Jasmine Star to her academy, the Social Curators, I think is the name of it. And I had a panic attack right before that class. I mean, Jasmine Star is huge, right? And I'll tell you where a lot of my anxiety came from. It came from a place that I didn't even know was possible, but we'll get into that later on in the video. So I was doing a class for Jasmine, and I think for me, this was one of the more serious ones before they started all being the same, like that serious all the time. But I did that class for Jasmine, and right before the class I had a panic attack, and my attack was so bad that I was late to teaching her class. I think I had a time mix up, to be really honest, because she's Pacific. I think she's in LA and I am in Dallas and I am Central Time. But right as they were trying to contact me on the phone to let me know, hey, you're supposed to be on already, I was in the middle of having a panic attack and I could not breathe. I could not get air into my body. And I answered and I automatically switched into work mode because while I was having the panic attack, which I did not know was a panic attack at that time, I just thought something was wrong with me. I thought I had too much coffee or something. And right when I got the call, flipped into work mode because while I was having the panic attack, I was thinking I had at least an hour to calm down and get myself together and gather myself to teach my class. Mind you, I'm not even thinking about my health. I'm thinking about the fact that I need to get it together to teach my class. However, so when I realized that, oh my gosh, like I am late for Jasmine Star's class, I got it together and taught the class like nothing happened. And I felt better by the end of the class. So I was like, well, okay, nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine. Not realizing that that was a full-blown panic attack that I had. And oh my gosh. Well, that was a while ago. I can't remember how long it was, but just getting into the future of that, my panic attacks started getting worse, and they started being of that intensity every day, like my body shutting down, just like overwhelmed, brain rushing. And when you are in the online space with a business, that already comes with lots of anxiety. And so on top of that anxiety, having these panic attacks, not knowing what they are, I thought everything. I thought I was having a stroke. I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought my health, because obviously I've gained weight during the pandemic. I thought it was something to do with my weight. I feel like I've never been this heavy before. Like, so many things were going through my mind, right? Just all the things. And all that does is make you even more anxious. It makes you even more nervous. It gets you even more on edge if you weren't on edge already. So thinking those thoughts don't help at all. Then I got COVID. So on top of all of that, I got COVID. Getting COVID made things worse for me because I essentially went into a shell and stayed in that state of panic. So when COVID started to leave, I started to stay in that state of panic all the time. Like, that was my baseline. Mind you, I'm showing up on calls, I'm consulting, I'm teaching classes, I'm doing everything as normal. The only thing I was not doing as normal was being on social media, because I realized I needed to take a step back. Luckily for me, my business is fully sustainable without being on social. So, especially because of YouTube videos, like, I keep getting people interested, like, all of those things keep happening for me. And I built it that way. And I'm thankful that I was able to stop social and still have very successful months in my business, because I've built my business in a way where I make multiple streams of income. I have multiple streams of income. So I have different money coming in from different places. That was amazing. However, I got to a point where in my bed, while recovering from COVID, and then after having those panic attacks, because I stayed in bed for an extended time because I felt like something is wrong, and if I move around, it will go even more wrong. I ended up going to the doctor to find out. No, before I went to the doctor, I got a therapist. Now, this is my second time doing therapy, because I had a really traumatic experience a few years ago in which I did therapy for, and then I stopped. And then, so this time, I was like, I need therapy. Something is going on. I definitely need therapy. And so signed up for therapy and started uncovering so many things during therapy. And I think that when you ask God for a sign, that sign, if you follow the rules and listen to him and take action on that sign, different things will start being revealed to you. So this is why it's so important for us to take action and do what we need to do. And so started therapy, then went to the doctor, and the doctor ended up fully, even though my therapist explained it, like when my doctor explained it and gave me medicine for that anxiety, that's a whole other video, because I was petrified to take the medicine for the anxiety. But because of all of that, I definitely just started understanding what was happening, seeing the light, doing more research, continuing therapy. I'm going to be in therapy for a while, because I started unpacking old trauma, things that I forgot about, never thought about, never processed, pushed under a rug. Old trauma that has been affecting me for so many years, and I just didn't even know or notice or understand what was happening. And so I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I'll get back to this part of the video. So I'm going to ask you to go to therapy if it's something that you've never thought about, something that you've never considered, because going to therapy is absolutely essential. And I'm going to share on my business channel how going to therapy unearthed and unrooted like a bunch of things pertaining to how I show up for business. Because I'll be really honest with you, so I stopped posting on social media and I stopped posting on my other YouTube channel. And I saw the other day the the statistics said 180 days. And so for me, it was really interesting reading that or seeing 180 days, because I never take lots of time off of social, or I've never been known to take a lot of time off of social. And even though I say I haven't been posting on social, like I have my assistant and she's consistently posting. So, but she's posting older content. And so it seems to my customers and clients as if I am consistent. So it seems like I'm on social all the time. But in reality, the past 3 or 4 months, I have not posted anything. So if you are subscribed to my business YouTube channel, you know that I have not really posted anything. But I haven't posted any new videos, I should say. And just being on social, I needed to take a step away from that. And I'm so glad that I took that step away and decided that I was going to take some time for myself. Now, the crazy thing is, when you do decide to do that, there's a certain anxiety involved in that, because we're told that we just need to go, be on social all the time. So I'm happy that my business is built in a way where I could have stepped back, but what about the person who can't step back or can't take a break? And for me, the last time I went through this was when I lost my grandmother and my aunt, and I just needed to stay away from social. And I was still able to keep things going and flowing, thankfully. So that's something that I've survived a few times now, and I'm super grateful for that. But it's definitely not easy. So therapy definitely helped. Taking anxiety medication, which is something I did not want to do at all, definitely helped. So go to your doctor, talk to your psychiatrist, or talk to someone and see what kind of help you can get for your panic attacks. The thing that really got me was I did not acknowledge that I was having panic attacks. I thought that I was just unhealthy. I thought that I was having a stroke, or because that's what it feels like. It feels like your entire body is shutting down, and you're so scared, you're so afraid, you don't know what to do in that moment. And then you start having intrusive thoughts. So for me, the thoughts were, oh my gosh, am I going to die right now? Literally, I got to a point where every single day I was thinking I was going to die. And I think, so for me, I have a coach that I talk to weekly, and I was speaking to him, and I told him about how I was feeling. Because when you start feeling like that, you're ashamed to tell anyone. You're ashamed to say how you're feeling, because it sounds crazy. Like, I've lived so long without having those thoughts consistently, because I have had them before. But imagine a voice inside of you telling you every single day you're going to die. And so I told him that, and just saying it out loud made me realize how crazy the thought was. And I don't want to say crazy because I was ashamed to say it for the fear that people would think that I was crazy. And in talking to him and hearing me say it out loud, I realized I needed to see a therapist, and I needed to get to a doctor, and I needed to start being responsible and figuring things out, because a lot of I say excuses now, but I didn't say excuses then. A lot of the thoughts that I had was, well, I can't rip myself away from work. I have so much going on. I'm, taking care of recreating things and creating content. Because I wasn't posting on the front end doesn't mean that I wasn't creating content on the back end. Consulting, like so many different things going on. My life is usually very busy. And so I realized that I just needed to talk to a therapist. Now, my coach usually tells me, like, Zaylee, you are extraordinarily busy. Like, you're always on the go, you're always going. And I would listen to him and be like, yeah, I am. If you talk to anybody in my family, they know that I'm usually very busy. But busy for the past few years in building a business also became my baseline. So it didn't feel uncomfortable. What felt uncomfortable was there was something keeping me from being as busy or as productive as I knew I could be. And that was the panic attacks and the anxiety. And so I got a therapist and started talking to her, and she helped me understand that, first of all, my busyness was suppressing something. And I've been busy for, I want to say, the past 6 years or the past 8 years. I've been on go. And I started talking to her and realizing how much trauma I've been through and how many times I had to be strong and dismissed that trauma as just something that happened and something that I can get over. And then I started understanding why I couldn't show up for work in different spaces or different capacities, or as my business was growing and brand was growing, I kind of went through a space where internally I told myself that my brand could not get any bigger than it is, because internally I had alarms going off in my mind and body about, if this thing gets bigger and you have this unhealed trauma inside of you, you're gonna be in trouble. It's really crazy when you start understanding what's actually happened. I even went as far to think that I maybe had diabetes or I was pre-diabetic, because I started experiencing hypoglycemic episodes like where, you know, I would be shaking or I would be dizzy. All of that was anxiety for me. So of course I'm telling you guys my story in hopes that it's gonna help someone else. But anxiety mirrors a lot of diseases and things that are happening around us, but we just don't know what it is. And so if you've been feeling this way, don't be afraid to go to your doctor. I was very afraid, and I think my anxiety, it sounds stupid, right? Because some people are used to going to the doctor for everything. For me, my anxiety actually told me mentally, if you go to the doctor and you really find out the things that are wrong with you internally, how are we going to deal with that? Am I going to die? Are they going to give me a term or a life sentence? You have so many things going on in your head when you have anxiety. And I think also just trauma on top of trauma. I recently lost, well, not recently, but I feel like I'm still processing it. My grandmother, and she had a heart attack that caused her to pass away. She had a stroke previously, but then I think, you know, the heart attack is what definitely, and she lived, I think, for 20 years after she got a stroke, right? I had an aunt who was like my mother. She died of cancer pretty early. And then I had another aunt that died of cancer right after that. And then I lost my grandfather, and he died of pretty much old age, I believe. I'm not too sure, because I probably never got that information or the truth about it. Because, you know, in families, or I'm of Caribbean descent, I'm Trinidadian, or I don't know if this happens in other kinds of families. Sometimes we don't know what illnesses are in our families because nobody tells us. But essentially, I started thinking that I had some sort of thing going on inside of me with these kinds of issues, because people in my family had it. So many things, guys. And I would love to make this video longer or continue. If you feel like I should continue or continue sharing, definitely let me know down in the comments. But I kind of wanted to share with you like just what those panic attacks felt like. And I have so much more information that I would love to share. So let me know if you kind of want to continue seeing this kind of content. But I really had a hard time just processing what was actually happening until I took my medication, started taking my medication, and I started feeling like, oh my gosh, I can think, or feeling like I feel like a version of myself that could think and could breathe and could see things clearly. And it's crazy because my work performance never suffered. If I had a client or if I was consulting, it never suffered. And that also helped me understand that you never know what people are processing or going through on the back end. So please be kind to everyone that you meet. Please be kind. You just don't know. And I am like, oh my gosh, I'm sharing this, but I'm also sharing it just for someone that needs the permission to start taking care of yourself. And I would love to share like what self-care looks like for me now, or I definitely want to share like what I've uncovered as far as understanding what panic attacks are even more. There are so many things I want to share, things that I'm doing differently now, how serious I'm taking my practices for grounding myself and meditation and eating better. Like those things are so important. Like we take them for granted. We do them because we see other people doing them. And trust me, I had a very strong meditation practice previously, but we don't think about how, like, they're really important. These things are so, so, so important. And spirituality is super important. And finding yourself is so important. So many things that are so important to us. But if you want to see more about my journey with anxiety and having panic attacks, definitely let me know. Also, let me know if this is something that you've gone through in your life as well. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next video.